Welcome back, guys. Welcome. What day is it? Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Lazy Redhead. And if you don't know, welcome, guys, welcome. It's been 2 weeks. That's the kind of schedule I'm thinking about, uploading a YouTube video every 2 weeks. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm committing to. The lives are great, but I am booked in for a number of live streams with the Lazy Redhead Plus. So although I will be doing live streams on here, they will be intermittent. They will be like flash of the pan kind of thing, like fly by the seat of your pants. I'll just turn up one day. And it's kind of that chaos that I bring to your lives that you know and love me for, really. So you should really be thanking me. Today, as I said a couple of weeks ago on our previous vlog, we are going to look at a little brief that was commented on. What piece was it? I think it was actually 2 vlogs ago. Laurie, hi Laurie, how you doing, babes? I have pinned the comment on that video whereby she gives me a small brief, which is as follows. It is the video I'm back studio vlog. This is the comment. I think you need a challenge, so I'll give you one. I think a collage product is in your near future. Try treating all kinds of collage papers, tearing them up and create textures and backgrounds with them. So the idea essentially would be to create a collage in which I would create on top of, which you obviously know I love. From what I've taken from that brief is that the collaging aspect would almost be like a textural swatch exercise, which I do love. I ended up doing that, but doing the opposite, obviously. But I did do it. I made good that I did it, and we're going to look at some of the things that I had ended up with. What I will say though is I'm going to voice over this next segment. The reason is because I kind of wanted to just immerse myself. Sometimes it's really, really hard if you don't film yourself creating. I think it's really hard to understand, but I'll try my best to explain. Those of you that do film whilst creating, certainly in a very organic state where you're not taking someone through steps and it's all sort of curated and predetermined. When you are in an really kind of like fly by the seat of your pants creative state, it's really, really hard to engage the 2 sides of your brain, because it is completely 2 sides. One, you're kind of,
hey girl, I'm in the camera, how you doing? This is what I'm doing.
Right, and you have obviously that engagement, aren't we? The engagement. The other side of your brain, the creative brain, which will always take precedent and take over, is just discovering and happening and wanting to immerse yourself in a moment. Engaging requires you to be sort of 4, 3, 5, 8 million steps ahead of yourself, doesn't it? But when you're in a moment, there is none of that. So there isn't any predetermined situation, and the 2 kind of clash and it becomes quite jumbled. Because I've been very non-creative for an extended period of time, certainly longer than I had wanted to be, I wanted to take the opportunity, right, if you're going to do the brief, you're going to do it for you, and then we'll obviously figure out the filming, editing saga afterwards, rather than trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So that is why, guys, there's a voiceover. That's a long way round of saying I'm voicing over. I'm not great at voicing over, but we'll do our best, and I'll do my best to explain the sort of thought processes that I am going through and some of the acknowledgements I've made since I've edited this portion of the film, because when you reflect back on the things you made, the decisions you've made, it's quite interesting. So we're going to discuss some of that a bit. So let's go. Come on. So the brief was to utilize collage to potentially work on top of. I did go into it with that in mind, and the first thing I thought about was, what do I have around me? I have a lot of pieces that I'm either still working on top of, swatches, that kind of stuff, and I thought, right, well, I'm not doing anything with these, they're just sat there piling up. Let's see what they have to offer. These, though, these swatches, I couldn't resist. I thought, wouldn't they be nice to cut up and utilize the actual like segments of colour, the shapes, beautiful. I mean, that one looks like a bit of a potato. That one looks like a purple turd. These are shapes that came to mind. It says more about me than it does the exercise. But I thought, well, let's cut them up, see if we can't come up with some more unusual shapes. Some I kept intact with other colours. Others I sort of segregated off and made single colours. And actually, just doing that was so exciting. You know, look at all these patches I had. I did, you know, start this out having made some aesthetical, questionable mistakes. This piece specifically, I put it down, I was like, no. I just thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to change tact here. And this is where I changed. I decided to grab the acrylic paints and almost do like a kind of quick swatching paint collage, essentially. Picking up colours, slapping it down. And I actually really enjoy that aspect of making swatches. Just plonking it down, picking up each colour randomly and plonking them together. This is a great exercise, by the way, if ever you want to learn how to improve your colour skills. You'll always be determined by the information you get. So, you know, cools and warms, you'll instantly know that they don't go together, why they don't go together. You'll see it. And it's just such a pleasurable experience just to plonk it all together and just see how it goes, how they interact. But that corner with the first stick down, oh, I think it's the colour. Do you know what it is? It's the colours of that. And it just sends me into a bit of a tailspin, I'll be honest. I can't help it, just look at it. Here you'll see that there's still a bit of green on my brush. I'm picking up pink and I'm just mixing it together. Again, it you know, I knew it looked awful at the time. It looks awful now. But that again is just a very organic slapdash way of learning colour theory in a weird way. You don't know why it doesn't work, you just know it doesn't. And that's the kind of practical, you're practically informing yourself as you go along. So I'm trying to cover up this bloody corner and I've made it worse. It's just things like that sometimes that you just have to roll with. It's mistakes you make, it's decisions you make that don't work out. And the exercise of actually having to deal with them, again, is something you won't get if you sit around thinking about it too much. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's just so much more informative for you to throw yourself into a situation and then discover that it hasn't worked, but then how do you get yourself out of those situations? That's the pleasure of it all. That's what swatching brings me. Granted, swatching is primarily to ascertain colour and everything else, and that's where it derives from, but just the aesthetical nature of swatching is definitely my jam. I'm not making decisions about what colours I'm putting down. I literally have just got a tray of predetermined palette, really, that I've just plonked stuff on, and they've all been moved around from other projects, and I haven't bothered to actually go through it. I've just picked up that tray, brought it to the table, and I'm picking out of it random colours, thinking, oh, what does that look like? I'm honestly not making any informed decision at this point, I'll be honest. I love that green. Oh, I love that green. Watching this back though, it's quite nice to reflect. This is the time where I can actually critically reflect as opposed to doing it whilst I'm in that creative zone. I don't like to do that because I find it stifles. Unless I've got like a proper project I've been working towards and I've gathered a lot of information, I just go at it. These are times for just pure creating, you know, don't think about it, get it done, just see what happens. that's the playfulness, that's the intuitive side, you know. I learned so much more this way. Not everyone is the same, and I totally appreciate that, but a lot of people do follow this channel because of my ability to do that. No matter what, you know, medium you work with, what style you lean to, you know. And I find that quite fascinating, that we can all use that approach to creating, no matter which way we create. I like that. I think that that's what brings us all together in the end. I'm layering now. A lot of what I'm doing is layering. That pink that I've got there is filled to the brim with sand paste, and it creates that opaque, different texture. You've got quite watery, scratchy textures, and I do like to put in opaque. It's all coming together now that I'm just intuitively plonking colour down. The other thing I like to do, actually, I've got that neon, that really, really like neon colour, is go on top of previous colours, and it creates a really lovely rim, like a halo, every time you put a new colour down, and I find that exciting. So now we're obviously on the collage. There's me trying to cover up that corner, the atrocious corner, to try and make good. But this is the point where I was, I didn't realise it when I was in the moment, granted, but since having edited it and looking back, I do find those circles like colourful turds, and they're really off-putting. They are very akin to some of the marks I've already made, so this is where I've kind of gone off brief a bit, where I've prioritised popping the collage parts on top of a predetermined swatchy ground. I do think it adds another layer of excitement, new dimension, you know. I like the fact that I can see that they're stuck on. I like the fact that you can see that they have been cut out with the white rim around it. I really like that, and I don't really know why, but this is what it's about, isn't it? So now we get to uncover this creation. Although I didn't follow brief, really, we all know we weren't going to do it because I'm a rule breaker. Can't help myself. It's like in my DNA. You tell me to go left, I'll go right, and some. Shall we go on the other camera so you can see if it has, in fact, stuck together? My greaseproof paper was not big enough to cover the whole page, so I do fear that it might have stuck together. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, here it is. Come on. Don't. Oh, it's making me nervous. Right, I'm gonna have to try and sort of carefully. Right, it has stuck together. I knew it would, and I knew it would be this corner. You know when you just get a creative intuition. Right, come on. Try not to. Well, that's actually not too bad, to be honest. All right, we've got a couple of rips. Couple of rips, guys. Okay, not bad. Some of it's lifted a little bit, but that's fine. I really like this, actually. There's a rip there, here. That's fine. That is fine. We can tolerate that. Tell you what we could do though is go over it, couldn't we, with some pencils? Why not? The thing is, I think in the spirit of which the brief was intended was that it's less about sticking to the letter of the law. It's more an excuse to start something and then kind of lose your way, isn't it? It's kind of like, right, let's get in it. Let's get in it and see if we can't find a way in. That's what I feel the brief was about. I'm gonna make good on that, you know. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with that. Oh, there's my favorite color. My favourite pink. Never lets me down, this pink. Oh, yes, I love this pink. Again, layering, guys, layering. Also, what you'll find with stuff like this is it'll change colour depending on what colour you plonk it on. And I really enjoy that. What's this now? I don't like that colour. It's quite boring, isn't it? Oh, that's a nice colour actually, isn't it? So my method then, the rules. There is no rules in my world, you know, there is no bloody rules. I just go, will that work? Only one way to find out. That's the rules. I learn a lot that way. I've learned quite a considerable amount about my practice, about the things I like, things I don't like. My practice moves quite fast as well. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that is in fact a bad thing. Just try it, just try the brief. I myself am enjoying myself, you know. Interpret the brief however which way you want. Everyone knew I was going to do that. Laurie knew, she knew that I was never going to play by the rules. One thing that you'll find with pieces like this is we can forego a bit of value. So let's get some value in there. The white, where's that white? There it is. Okay. Oh, Jesus, I love putting white. It's really just something I absolutely love. It just creates this like sexy texture. I can't get any other way. I need more colour, don't I? More. If you're not already part of the Facebook swap and share, if you wanted to obviously do Laurie's brief, then you can always upload your creations to the Facebook swap and share. If you're not part of it, you will have to ask to be let in, which is fine. It's just because I don't want weirdos coming on and just causing a right kerfuffle. Can't be asked. No one can be asked. We just want a nice safe space for us to just share our ideas and just create with like-minded people, really. Oh, balls. What is going on with me? Like, pressing on these things like they're made of steel. Calm down, Elise. Such a passionate little drawer. Do you know what I mean? Passionate. Yeah, so this is a really beautiful, fun, exciting, engaging way for you to learn colour. Learn your colour. So it's all very well and good me saying learning colour theory, but you know, at the end of the day, you need to learn what your palette is, and that will change. It will change so much, and I think that this is a great way to embrace that and to reinvent yourself every day you come to the studio. This is how I see it anyway. This is how I feel when I do these sorts of exercises. Is like, right, well, who am I going to be today? Well, I don't know. Oh, I've got a fighter jet going over the house. Also, colour aside, this is great for mark making as well. These collage-ass pieces, and my beautiful purple turd is essentially mark making. It's a type of mark making, so, you know, so that's another thing that I really enjoy about this. So for example, I've got this teal, you know, I love this kind of like scratchy when I do that. I really enjoy, but then why can't I maybe throw in a few lines, a few circles, like really just like a line across? Why not? Let's see, let's do it. Can be very intimidating, and I know that when you've worked on a piece, you've invested money in it, you know, okay, it might not be a lot of money, but it is still money. Things still cost you money, and it's your time as well. And certainly when there are things on this page that I absolutely adore and love, you don't want to ruin that. You don't want to forego all these different things. You want to keep as much of the cool information as possible, but being so cautious, so aware of risk, and loss. All those negative things you want to bring to the studio, it stifles learning, it's developing. It's not to say you won't progress. You will progress. It's just, it's impossible not to progress, I think, in a lot of ways. But it will be extremely slow, and at times I have found within myself, this is just purely my own thing now, painful, you know, because people are doing other cool shit that I want to do, and then, you know, I'm like, well, why am I not doing cool shit like that? It's like, well, they have gone in and just let go, you know, they have told themselves, this is not how I want to spend my time creating. I want more from me. Thingy over there, and a bit of a thingy there, and maybe some circles up there. Why not? I feel like I'm pretty much done. I think I'm overworking it, actually, if I'm going to be honest, but I was having fun, so there you go. You know, you gotta have fun. Cool. I could decide to put more mediums on this, maybe a bit of ink potentially. Kinda don't want to. Maybe I should. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Right, let me pop these in here. Okay, so I find with these sorts of things where you've got a lot going on, but you want to still see those marks, one of the best inks to use is the Winsor & Newton drawing ink, because it's extremely see-through. We're going to actually get some water. You get to keep the marks underneath, but you get to create another layer and more and different colors, which I love. I absolutely love this stuff. It's probably one of my favorite inks as well. The other type of ink that will do the same as this is Liquitex transparent inks. Will do exactly the same. This is another way, again, for you to explore color and how to mix, because once you layer these transparents up, they will change their color, they change their hue. So this one's not this. This is an Indian drawing ink. It was part of the cheap ink range, or the cheap ink video. I'm just gonna go straight in. It still has a transparency. It's not as transparent as, I don't know actually. It's not as pigmented, I think, as the Winsor & Newton. It is a cheaper range. I just love this so much. Oh, I just love it. There is nothing better than just swatching, exploring, you know. I also like to play with marks, so you know what I'm doing now is I am going back to a more kind of circle mark, little blobs of colour like so, you know, to bring back the shape of these swatches again and push back some of this scratchiness, these scribbles, should I say. It's probably the best word, scribbles. Again, it creates these layers again. They dance and they're like, ooh, ooh. These are just some of the decisions I'm making and the reasons as to why. I mean, you guys are going to make your own decisions. Different things are going to happen that's going to lead you down a different path, and that's what's beautiful about this. As for the overworkedness, now, I get it, right? I do flid between being what's the word? I'm losing all my train of thought, because this is what happens when I get into that creative zone, isn't it? What am I saying? What was I talking about? Oh, ADHD brain is being a sausage roll again. Oh yeah, overworkedness. Oh, that took so much effort to get back. Right, so this idea of being overworked. I am extra as a human being, as a creative. Everything I do is very much extra. I want my work to reflect that. It's just the way I am. I want more. It also creates a really beautiful space where it doesn't matter how many mistakes I make, things that I don't necessarily think are successful. I am so messy and my work is so chaotic and slap hazard kind of vibe, right? Just in its approach, in its result, that I never find myself having gone too far. And if I can, or if I have, and I have done before, then I cover it up and I start again. You know, this is what my work offers me. Creating art, and this is something actually I'm really gonna just really put out there. It's so incredibly important to me. Creating should be exciting, should be full of happiness, thought-provoking. You know, you should be getting something positive out of it. You should not feel pain, I think, when creating, unless you're doing a really mental performance arts, right? But that's just a whole nother genre. But I'm just talking in respective to what we love and know on this channel, right? Creating should not, in my opinion, be painful. And if it is, there is something wrong. Life is painful, guys. It is extreme. It's quite a violent experience just to exist, you know, as a normal human being, right? Let alone if you've got other things going on, right? Your basic bitch, it's still very traumatic. And so my work offers me, and I hope everyone who sees my work, watches me create, a space to forget about all that shit for a minute. And so I think that's why I create the way I do. A very kind of devil may care, shove the shit on, see how it goes. If it doesn't work out, Christ alive, it's just paint. It's just materials. Don't worry. We can sort it out. I want that to be the message on this channel, I think. That's the message I can approve of. Just love what you do. Have fun. Have fun with people who get you crazy, who just want to have fun with you. If you're having fun, people will naturally like creep towards you, because they too want to have fun. People do just want to be happy. Isn't that the ultimate goal? Being happiness? Well, I think the ultimate goal is actually peace, and people get confused with happiness. Happiness requires an external factor, doesn't it, to wade in to create a, you know, an environment that promotes happiness. I think peace is what we should be really looking for, but that is a whole different bloody saga. I'm not even going to get into it. Okay, I feel happy. Ironically, it is a mess. It is a lot. It's chaos. It's a party. Is it a party? Are we in the midst of a party, or are we at the end of the party? That's what we need to know. This is all I want you to ask yourself. Love it. Right, sorry, I'm waffling on. Let's get this dry, and let's just have a look at it when it's dry. So it's not quite dry. There's still wet bits, but I will try and lift it up without foregoing an absolute dribble. It's crazy, it's mental, it's full of life. I feel like I've gone mental at this piece, because it's almost like an accumulation of all that creative residue that's just been building up and building up whilst I've been in a bit of a rut. I say I've been in a rut. Do you know what it is? I think it's because my life's at a bit of an impasse at the moment. I'm starting my new job. Well, I would have started by the time you've got this. So in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to have a review of what my life is like with new job. Obviously prepping for that, closing down platforms, creating new platforms, making changes, all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of newness coming around. That's what the next vlog I feel is going to be about, is about how do we deal with a lot of change, how do we deal with a lot of newness, where am I going to go creatively, all that kind of stuff. What do I do in those moments when things are getting a bit too much and I need to reorganize everything? I have a plan. It's something I've always kind of go to. It's my go-to thing. It's my formula to deal with all-consuming change, and I stand by it. I stand by it. So we're you're going to be getting that in a couple of weeks. Feel like this piece is like an explosion, like almost like a very colourful throw up. Okay, that analogy is disgusting. You get what I'm saying? It's like I've purged it all. Blown away cobwebs. Here we go. See, now we're on it. This sketchbook is actually close to being complete. I've actually only got about 3 or 4 spreads in this sketchbook. Lazy Redhead Pluses, guys, you are going to get the sketchbook tour live, so we can talk about it live, discuss it all. YouTube will get an edited video. It's starting to rain, and we all know what this place is like when it rains. If you were on that infamous live where I couldn't even hear myself and you couldn't even hear yourself, you had to mute your bloody computers, you're not going to be able to understand me anyway. So, with that said, thank you so much for joining me today. If you're interested in seeing this sketchbook being toured live, then by all means check out the Lazy Redhead Plus. The link is below. Just an FYI, if you're streaming this off an iOS, Apple device, you will not be able to join from your device. You'll have to go to a PC or an Android phone. They won't process payments through iOS. So there may not be a join button under this video right now. What else? I'll see you in a couple of weeks. We're going to discuss what it means to have change in our lives, the trauma and the anxiety that bestows upon us, and how I personally like to deal with it. I feel like that's a really good all-round video. Oh yeah, and the other thing was, if you have watched this whole video and you haven't subscribed, something wrong. It just helps me out, helps a bitch out, means nothing to you other than the fact that you'll be subscribed to a fabulous channel. But it does, it helps me grow and promote my content and all that sort of stuff. So every little helps, guys. It takes a village. Takes a village. It's free. Subscribe. If you want to be notified of any up-and-coming videos, then by all means press the little bell. If you are interested in seeing one of my lives, you can also go to the content. There's obviously an archive of live streams there, but if you do want to be on one, they are quite fun. I will be kind of doing it off the hand, just whenever I can. There'll be no schedule for a live on YouTube. Then by all means press the little bell and that'll notify you. That will be lovely. Thank you so much for joining me. Any creations you've created, if you want to take on Laurie's brief, by all means I encourage you to. And if you want to show us all what you've created, go over to the FB swap and share, ask to be invited, and I'll let you in. And then you can upload your beautiful creations to inspire us all, because that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about sharing in each other's creative wisdom. Anyway, love you guys. Have a good one. Keep out of trouble as much as you can. Within reason, you know. Don't be boring. Bye, guys. Mwah.